So now I want to talk about the Senate. We've established that the House is a majoritarian institution, meaning that if the majority party is unified, right, meaning they all vote together, they always win. So now let's talk about the Senate and the way it's structured. Now, there are certain benefits to being in the majority party in the Senate, just as there are in the House. Let me list some of them. First, if you're the majority party in the Senate, you have more members on every committee and on every subcommittee, just like the House. Also, if you're the majority party in the Senate, the chairmanship of all the committees and all the subcommittees is going to be someone in the majority party. So all the chairmen of all the full committees, all the chairmen of all the subcommittees are all going to be a member of the majority party. Now, just like in the House, there's going to be a ranking member in each committee. That's going to be the minority party, the leader of the minority party in each committee. In the Senate, most votes in the Senate require a simple majority. You just need one more vote than you just need a majority, and then you win. That's true in committee, that's true in subcommittees, and that's true on the floor as well. Just like in the House. Everything that I've described is just like in the House. But if the majority party is unified, the majority party frequently loses in the Senate. Now you may be wondering, how can that be? Well, before I answer that question, let me add a little nuance to this. Everything that I just said about the majority party losing is only true if the majority party has less than 60 members. So in the Senate, if the majority party has 60 members and the minority party has 40 members, and if those 60 senators all vote unified, they all vote the same way, the majority party will always win in the Senate. But if the majority party has 59 members and the minority party has 41 members, the majority party frequently loses. And that's what I mean by the Senate being a non-majoritarian institution. So why is the Senate a non-majoritarian institution, given everything that I've said? Let me give you a little background. As I said previously, the majority leader, this is the leader of the majority party in the Senate, the majority leader is the one who controls the agenda. That is, they decide when bills are going to be debated, when bills are going to be voted on. And what they do is they set the schedule and they put it on a schedule that everybody knows about. And so if I have a bill, Phil's corn law, that I want to debate and then have voted on, I'll ask to be put on the agenda. I'll be asked to be put on the calendar along with other senators. And then I'll wait for my day when my bill comes up. Now, one of the things in the Senate is there's a lot of collegiality, and so they will frequently give senators from both parties opportunities to present bills. So whether I'm in the majority party or the minority party, if I want to pass Phil's corn law, if I want to see if I can get that passed, I'll usually be given an opportunity by the Senate majority leader, and you'll see why in a moment. So there are opportunities for senators of both parties to discuss and debate their bills. And so on any given day, it might be that I'm going to present my bill in the morning, and we'll debate my bill for a little while. Then there'll be another bill from another senator, may not even be a senator from my own party. Then there might be two other senators. So there are 4 bills that are going to be what we call introduced. We're going to begin debating them. And frequently more than one bill is discussed in the Senate. So that's the setup. None of which explains why the Senate is a non-majoritarian institution. The reason it's a non-majoritarian institution has to do with something called the filibuster. In terms of the Senate rules, officially it's Rule 22. I think it's technically called the rule of extended debate. But this is the way it works. This is the process in theory. When senators are debating bills, when they want to speak, they have to be recognized by the presiding officer. But the key is, and this is where the filibuster comes in, once a senator is recognized to speak, they can speak for as long as they want. And they don't even have to talk about the bill that's being debated. They can talk about anything they want. They can get a phone book and put it on their desk, their podium, and they could read from the phone book. And as long as they're continuing to speak, they can hold the floor. No one can interrupt them. The record for a filibuster was by a guy named Strom Thurmond, a senator from South Carolina, 24 hours and I think 18 minutes. He spoke nonstop for 20 hours and 18 minutes. In his case, he was trying to prevent a bill having to do with civil rights from being passed. Eventually, he had to stop. I think he had to go to the bathroom, but eventually he had to stop. And the vote took place, and that was that. So how does this filibuster work in theory? And I want you to keep in mind that I keep saying in theory, and there's a reason why. You'll find out momentarily. So we're going to imagine that I'm Phil, the senator from Nebraska, and I'm on the schedule. There are 3 other senators behind me, but I'm on the schedule, and the plan is for me to go ahead and open debate on Phil's corn law. Now, just for the sake of discussion, we're going to assume that I've been walking around talking to other senators, and I know that there are 55 people who support Phil's corn law, and there are 45 people who oppose Phil's corn law. So a majority support my bill, right? Pretty sizable majority. I got 10 more votes. So what happens? The session opens, we say the pledge, we do all that stuff. I stand up. The presiding officer sees me standing up, and he says, the senator from Nebraska, does the senator from Nebraska seek recognition? I say, yes, Mr. President. That's what they call the presiding officer in the Senate, Mr. President. And the presiding officer says, you're recognized. And I go ahead and I say, I talk about my bill, how awesome it is, and then I end by saying, Mr. President, I motion to open debate on Phil's corn law. Now, if this passes, and the Senate is officially going to begin debating my bill. Okay. Anytime a senator makes a motion, the presiding officer is going to ask the same question. Always, this is a Senate rule. Presiding officer is going to ask, are there any objections? Well, let's suppose Senator B doesn't like my bill, really doesn't like my bill. After the presiding officer says, are there any objections? Senator B stands up. The presiding officer says, you're recognized to speak, Senator B. And Senator B starts talking, nonstop. Maybe he talks about my bill and why he hates it. He talks for 10 hours. Now, by the way, there's only one instance where you can interrupt somebody, well, 2. There's one instance where you can interrupt when a senator is speaking, and that's if you're trying to help them out. If you're somebody who also hates Phil's corn law, right, you can stand up and ask to be recognized by Senator A or Senator B. Senator B might yield for a question, meaning he's going to give up the floor for you to ask a question. Now, if the person asking the question also doesn't like Phil's corn law, why would he ask a question? Well, he's just trying to help out Senator B, whose throat might be hurting. Guys, maybe been talking 8 hours straight. So what kind of question does Senator B want this person to ask? A long question, a long question. And then when they're done asking the question, Senator B, who's got a chance to let his voice rest, continues on. And so let's say Senator B speaks for 10 hours, 12 hours, and finally passes out, falls on the ground. Sergeant at Arms drags him out of the room. I see that. I stand up immediately. The presiding officer says, Senator from Nebraska is recognized. Say, thank you, Mr. President. I motion to open debate on Phil's corn law. Presiding officer once again says, are there any objections? Senator C stands up and objects and is recognized to speak. And now Senator C starts talking. Let's say Senator C talks for 12 hours. That's been going on so long that we've had to take a break and then start the next day to begin with Senator C still being able to continue to filibuster. Right, all the while that this is happening, right, what happens is the other senators who were going to have an opportunity to present their bills, they're getting pissed off at me. Why are they getting pissed off at me? Because they wanted to talk about their bill. They thought it was going to be discussed the day before. And they're coming up to me while these senators are filibustering and they're saying, hey, look, Phil, your bill is being filibustered. Maybe you don't know the rules here. Your bill is being filibustered. You need to pull the bill off the floor and go negotiate with these people. Otherwise, you're bringing the whole Senate to a screeching halt. And I can't propose my bill. The guy behind me can't propose his bill. The woman behind them can't propose their bill. You're stopping the whole thing. You just need to pull the bill from the floor and go negotiate. And they have a good point. Because the thing is, according to the Senate rules, once Senator C passes out, if I'm recognized to speak again, and I motion to open debate on Phil's corn law again, if there are other senators who object, they can do the same thing. They can stand up, be recognized, and speak for as long as they want. And everybody who's so opposed to Phil's corn law that they're willing to filibuster, they can all filibuster one time, and then they can filibuster a second time. In other words, they're not going to be able to vote down my bill. That's not what filibusters do. What filibusters do is they prevent Phil's corn law from ever being debated or voted on. Right? And not only are they preventing my bill from being debated or voted on, but it's also preventing other bills from being debated or voted on. And it may be some of those people were supporters of my bill, and they're like, dude, I'm about to vote against your bill because this sucks. What's going on? That's how filibusters work. It's because of this rule of extended debate. It's because senators, once they're recognized to speak, can speak for as long as they want. That basically, if there's strong opposition to a bill, and you don't have 60 people, senators, 59 plus yourself, who support your bill, a minority of members can go ahead and prevent it from ever being voted on. Or they can bring the Senate to a screeching halt by filibustering. And this is why we say the Senate is a non-majoritarian institution, because the majority doesn't rule. Because again, as I said at the beginning, this is working under the assumption that 55 senators support my bill and 45 oppose it. Everything I just said would be true if 59 senators supported my bill and 41 opposed it, as long as they all stuck together. So, why don't we see filibusters very often, or hardly ever? That's what I'll explain in the next video.